At this point, you may have heard a lot about independent study. So that is the expectation that outside of your lessons and outside of your timetable, you are completing your own independent study towards your subjects. So this is just a little guide in case you're feeling like you're not sure where to start or what you would do. How could you do it in applied science? Key thing, get organised. The very first thing you should do is start to think about your week and what will work best for you, because we're all individuals. We've all got different commitments, be that hobbies or jobs, or maybe you just really want time to relax and you want to balance your week nicely. So this timetable here, this blank one, we can send out to you if you want it. It's just the week divided into morning, afternoon and evening blocks where there are 3 1-hour slots in them. Now think about the week as 21 blocks. 14 of them should be study blocks. So they will be taken up by your timetabled lessons in college and those independent study hours. Then that leaves you with 7 blocks for yourself to do whatever you wish to do in. So the very first thing you should do is slot in your actual timetable. So from college, pop in where you will be in lessons. So once you've popped them in there, you can see that your timetable's filling up quite nicely. Then the next thing to do is the really important bit. When do you want time to yourself? Okay, be that it's time for you to go and do some paid employment. I know a lot of you will have jobs, or that you've got a hobby that you do. You might be a keen athlete, you might enjoy knitting, you might enjoy going fishing, whatever it is that you want to do. For me, it would be sitting down and watching a great film. So factor that in. Okay. And then really, once you've done that, all that's left is going to be time for you to do your independent study. So I've just done this as if it were me. If it were me, I would like to know that my Friday night is completely clear. That is for me to do whatever I want to do. I also like the idea that I have a free Saturday to do as I wish. Sunday, I would like to have an easy morning. I don't mind doing a few hours of work in the middle of the day, and then I'd like Sunday night off as well so that I feel I can rest ready for Monday. Okay, and then thinking about the week, I'm quite happy to just sort of work solidly throughout the week. I'm going to give myself a Tuesday night off. Okay, so that would be how I would do it, but you can spread out those blocks as you like, however works best for you. Okay, and then that starts to show you when are the slots that you can be doing independent study. And it doesn't just mean homework, as in stuff that you do at home. Obviously, there will be big chunks of it you will do at home, but do remember we've got study centres here. You can go to the library. There's all sorts of places you could be doing this. And independent, yes, as in without a teacher, but you could, if you've got really good pals or people that you meet on your course who you work well with, you can have little study groups. So it could be that some of these sessions are you and a few pals at the cafe or here or wherever it may be working on the course content. So then when it comes to independent study, what do you do? Which is always a question. Like, some people know exactly what they're going to do, how they're going to approach their work, and other people find it a bit confusing. So you'll find that certain units in applied science lend themselves to this more easily. So you will have certain units where you've been given a lot of new science to learn, especially with the exam units, those external examinations. So revising and checking your learning with that and really making sure that you are deep processing it is really important. So I just wanted to run you through a really easy system you can follow to bolster your independent study and help you to really deep process, which means deeply learn and understand the work. So the first thing to do then is take a small chunk of whatever content it is, whichever aspect of science you're trying to learn or check through. And you start off doing something called a brain dump, or you might call it blurting. Okay. Once you've done that, you check the blurt. Anything that you have written down correctly and included correctly, You then ignore it really because it means you already know it. Okay, so then you follow down the line where it says info present, yes, info correct, yes, all done, easy. It's the information or the content that isn't there, you've not written it down, so you didn't remember it, or you've written it down incorrectly. So info present, no, or info is not correct, no. And this is the next bit. This is the bit where you're going to do your deep processing. So options you've got, you could make analogies, make flashcards, rewrite, or create diagrams. So what I'm going to do next is just talk you through step by step this entire system so that it's nice and easy, and it just gives you a default activity to do with your independent study. So brain dumping or blurting. So lots of people have already heard about this. What you do is you take that manageable little topic area, nothing huge, take a piece of plain paper and don't do any kind of preparation for this. Don't read the notes, don't look at anything. You want your brain to be kind of cold with this. And you just start to write down everything you can remember or that you know about that little topic area. And you can also include drawings and diagrams if that helps as well. Give yourself a little time limit, like a challenge. Set a timer, 10 minutes-ish, and see what appears in your blurt. Once the 10 minutes are up, then it's time to actually check. What have you written down? Have you written down the correct things, or have you missed lots out? Have you got things incorrect? So on and so forth. So you can see in this example here, all of the black writing in the black pen is information that was written down during the blurt. And then this student has gone back with a different coloured pen and added in bits that were missing and corrected anything that wasn't correct in the first place. So really good idea, just get a different coloured pen or a highlighter and run through as if you're marking it. Okay, imagine you're a teacher, you're marking it. How did it all go? Is it present? Did you write the information down? And did you write it down correctly? Brilliant, done. Pat yourself on the back. That means that that information is fully embedded in your brain, okay? Because you were able to, without any preparation, recall it, write it down correctly. That means it's there. What we want you to do is work smarter, not harder. So leave that, done. Focus on the gaps and the inaccuracies. If it was missing, we need to look at it. If it was incorrect, we need to look at it, okay? So we're going to then move on to some deep processing techniques to help you to embed that information in your long-term memory. So I'm going to give you 4 really nice, easy strategies that you can use to deep process it, to go over that information that was a bit wonky, it was missing, it was incorrect, and make it stick better. So the first one is analogies. Analogies are amazing, okay? It's where you find something that you're not sure about and you look for ways to compare it to something that you know inside out and upside down. So you make a comparison between it and something that you are totally familiar with. Okay, a really common one, dead easy, that I used to use when I was teaching about cells to year 8 is I would tell students that there were these things called chloroplasts and that they were filled with chlorophyll, and often many students muddle up the word chlorophyll and chloroplast. So to make it really easy, I would say, right, the chloroplast is the whole blob itself. It's like a chloroplastic bag, it's the bag. The chlorophyll is the filling, so chlorophyllin, dead easy, because we all know the concept of a bag and filling, that's already known to us. So drawing an analogy between chloroplast and chlorophyll makes it much, much simpler. The next 3 strategies are even simpler still, and some people love a flashcard. Flashcards are brilliant. The key to them though is keep them short and keep them snappy. Don't be writing essays out on tiny little squares of paper. Okay, try and use keywords. You can use diagrams, arrows, flowcharts, etc., but keep them snappy so that the idea is that when you read a flashcard, it's not got all the information on it, but it's got enough on it that it triggers your memory so that you go, oh, I know, with the rest of that. So by all means, you can work with other people to make flashcards. That can be a really nice group activity. There are apps, there are things like Quizlet, etc. But flashcards are a great way to do it. Making the flashcard itself is a deep processing system, and then you can use them to quiz yourself afterwards. Second strategy on this slide, put things into your own words, okay? So take a concept and imagine you are explaining it to a 12-year-old, so like a year 7, year 8. They've got a bit of an understanding of science. How could you explain what it is you're learning to them in a way that they would understand? It's really effective. It forces you to have to really think about what's going on and communicate it to somebody else, okay? If you can actually explain it to a 12-year-old, if you can get yourself one, a family member, even better. In fairness, I used to explain things to my parents. Neither of them are scientists, so I would often, as part of revision, teach my parents things. Last one, great for people who really have an artistic flair, use diagrams, okay? Little example there of a carbon cycle, but if you find that imagery really helps you remember things, get creative with it, make posters, stick them around your room. It's a really good way to, again, process the information and make something meaningful with it. And then really, that's the end of it. So once you've completed all of this, don't go straight back and do another brain dump because that won't work effectively, but maybe a week later, a couple of weeks later, you can go back to the same topic and start this whole system again. And hopefully what you should find is if you've done this effectively, is that you do your brain dump and your review and you end up down here in this green section. And if there's the odd thing that you missed out, well, go through this again. And by the time you've done it twice, it should definitely be really, really embedded into your long-term memory and you should have been able to really understand it, okay? And you can just keep repeating this system for all these sorts of topics, but it's a really effective way to attempt independent study, and it's a brilliant thing to do when it comes to revision. So before you get to external exams, when you're busy revising, try out these strategies. They're quick, they're pretty easy, and they're very, very effective strategies. So I hope that's really helped.